Good day everyone, I am Lorenn Jade Aligarbes from EL102 and today I will discuss what is verb, what are the classes of verbs, and what are the properties of verbs. But today, let me first identify what is verb. A verb is a word that its syntax conveys an action, an occurrence, or state of being. In the usual description of English, the basic form, with or without the particle to, is the infinitive. In many languages, verbs are inflected to encode tense, aspects, mood, and voice. Here are some examples of a verb. Are we clear? Now, after hearing what is verb, after watching what are the examples of verb, let me first identify what are the classes of verb. Action verb. An action verb animates a sentence, either physically, like swim, jump, drop, whistle, or mentally, like think, dream, believe, suppose, and love. Verbs make sentences move, sometimes dramatically, sometimes quietly. Action verbs are words that express action, yes, as you can see, like for example, give, eat, walk, etc. Or possession like have and own. Action verbs can be either transitive or intransitive. For example, Larissa raises her hand. The verb is raises. Her hand is the object receiving the verb's action. Therefore, raises is a transitive verb. Transitive verbs sometimes have indirect objects, which name the objects to whom or for whom the action was done. For example, Abdas gave Becky the pencil. The verb is gave. The direct object is the pencil. What did he give? Of course, the pencil. The indirect object is Becky. To whom did he give it? To Becky. And the second one is intransitive verbs. What is intransitive verbs? An intransitive verb never has a direct or indirect object. Although, an intransitive verb may be followed by an adverb or adverbial phrase. There is no object to receive its action. For example, Larissa rises slowly from her seat. The verb is rises. The phrase slowly from her seat modifies the verb, but no object receives the action. That is transitive. And in traditional grammar and guidebooks, a linking verb is a verb that describes the subject by connecting it to the predicate adjective, or predicate noun. Unlike the majority of verbs, they do not describe any direct action taken or controlled by the subject. A quick way to tell whether a verb is functioning as a linking verb is to see if you can replace it with the form of the verb to be and still have a logical sentence. Linking verbs operate differently than action verbs. First, while action verbs are modified by adverbs, linking verbs are often followed by adjectives. All forms of the verbs are linking verbs. For example, are, am, is, were, was, etc. Besides, verbs that have to do with the five senses are linking verbs. Feel, look, smell, sound, and taste. Those are the linking verbs that you can see in five senses. So we come to the point that linking verb is not an action verb. It tells about what the subject is, not what it's going. For example, Sheena's cat is tired. Here shows the condition of Sheena's cat, not what it's doing, right? So here, the word is working as a linking verb because it connects the sentences. And other examples are this. get done. Here are the properties of verb. The first one, the voice. Voice only applies to transitive verbs, and it is either active or passive. Active voice demonstrates that the subject is the one performing the action, whereas passive voice indicates that the subject is receiving the verb's action. The voice of a verb describes the relationship between the action, or the state of the sentence, that the verb expresses and the participants identified by its argument, the subject, the objects, etc. When the subject is the agent or doer of the action, the verb is the active voice. The second one, the mood. Verb moods are classifications that indicate the attitude of the speaker. The mood of the verb refers to the manner in which the verb is expressed. Most verbs are indicate and are used to express statements of facts or opinions. The first one, the indicative mood. The indicative mood is the most widely used in English. With the use of verb tense, the indicative mood brings about expression of facts, emphasize certainty of what has happened, presently happening or will happen, and is also used to make concrete denials, as well as putting up questions. Usually, most of the verb we use in our normal speech are in the indicative mood. Like for example, she is here on time. Is she here on time? The rain lasted through the night. Are we yet there? So that are the examples of mood. We usually speak that, or we usually encounter that word even in personal. The next one is the subjunctive mood. The subjunctive mood essentially exists in the regular form, active voice, although with many exceptions. Although minimally used, the subjunctive mood serves a great purpose. What is it? It brings about expressions of imaginary things. It tells a proposed, supposed, wished, or uncertain action or state of being. The last property of verb is infinitive verb. When we use the word do before a verb in the sentence, we are using the infinitive verb form. However, what can be confusing is that the infinitive phrase to plus a verb does not act like a verb at all, but rather takes on the role of a noun, adjective, or adverb in the sentence. For example, we have this famous sentence from Hamlet: to be or not to be, that is the question. The phrase to be is acting as a subject of the sentence. It is as if the verb phrase puts on the costume of a noun, adjective, or adverb, and plays the role of a part of speech or other than itself. A verb that is preceded by the word to is an infinitive.
And that would be all for today. Thank you, BSN1, for listening. Have a nice day.